the problems with diets? Why don't they seem to work? Although there are now tons of diets out there for people to follow. Why do people keep gaining the weight back, if not even more? So let's see why. Number one, the ability to change habits is key to weight loss, and diets do not teach you to learn about and identify your habits and behaviors. And we cannot change habits without being aware of them and aware of their root causes. So we continue living on autopilot mode with the same patterns of behaviors. So enhancing our awareness of our own personal experience with food and eating is key. A typical diet doesn't teach you how to learn about your habits and behaviors. They will just tell you what to eat and when, regardless of any situation. With mindfulness, on the other hand, we develop an awareness and acceptance of the challenges we face and our responses to them. And this helps us make skillful decisions that support our health and goals. Diets do not teach us how to manage our eating triggers. For most people, their problematic eating is just the tip of the iceberg, and there is an underlying root for this behavior. Diets do not teach you what to do when you're faced with a stressful situation that would typically cause you to eat. Diets do not teach you how to recognize it in the first place, and diets do not teach you how to handle daily stressors, painful emotions, and unexpected events. Diets promote more disconnection from internal body cues. Diets can reduce our ability to self-regulate how much we eat. They teach people to rely on external rules for eating, like what you're allowed to eat and how much and when. And this may lead to the loss of one's ability to recognize, accept, or respond to internal cues of hunger, taste, satiety, and fullness. Because when a diet tells you what, when, and how much to eat without consideration to how much you really need to feel full and satisfied, what would you do if you finish the meal unsatisfied? And what would you do when you feel hungry when it's not time to eat according to the diet you're following? People are usually left with two options. Option one, you might distract yourself, and this will lead you to further disconnect from listening to your body cues. This will leave you relying on willpower, which may work for some people for some time. But with mindful eating, we rely on our inner wisdom, our body cues, and not willpower. Option two, if your diet allows eating low-calorie foods whenever you like celery and cucumber, you might fill up on these foods whenever you finish a meal and you're not satisfied. These foods are full of water and take up a lot of space in the stomach, meeting that perceived need to feel really full. You might also munch on these foods whenever you feel bored, sad, or any other emotion. So, really, what have you achieved here other than still disconnecting from our bodily cues, still eating mindlessly, and still reinforcing our old habits of eating until we're overly full, or eating as a response to other emotions like boredom and anger? Dieting also disconnects you from taste satisfaction because you're not the one making the food choices. So you're not really eating the foods that you mostly enjoy. You're not connecting to your taste buds to truly enjoy and be satisfied with a smaller serving of your favorite ice cream for dessert or a little bit of rich sauce on your vegetable or pasta. Plus, overeating the free foods, the cucumber and celery, will take you past the point of actually enjoying the taste or flavor of it. And this reinforces the habit of quantity over quality. So, after you're done with this diet, most probably you have lost the 10 or 20 or more pounds. But then what? You're left without any skills to maintain that weight loss. So rather than disconnecting from taste and fullness by following a diet or relying on willpower, it's much more beneficial in the long term to cultivate the ability to tune into our inner wisdom, our sense of enough, and to recognize the common triggers that tend to make us overeat. Diets are restrictive. They don't teach you generally how to eat in a balanced and flexible way. And they don't teach you how to eat long term, because a typical diet would exclude certain food groups. And it's very true that what you resist persists. Research found that whatever you're deprived from, you will tend to overeat it later. Therefore, mindful eating tends to encourage moderation in food choices and the inclusion of small portions of the high-fat, high-sugar, and high-salt foods that individuals typically binge on. Deprivation is not sustainable and does not serve a long-term healthy lifestyle. Diets do not support your health and well-being. No one can tell you how much to eat and what to eat except for you. You are the only one who can decide what would be nourishing to your body and mind when you apply your inner and outer wisdom. Plus, a lot of the restrictive diets are unhealthy and may dysregulate physiology further. How many times we have heard about people being rushed to the ER because of health issues related to the diet they are following, which will force them to stop it anyway. Diets do not promote socializing. We are social creatures and hardwired to connect. It is not sustainable at all to avoid socializing, be it going to parties, holiday dinners, going out with friends, events at work, or lunch and learn. So, to summarize, let's take a look at the difference between dieting and mindful eating. Diets depend on willpower. Mindful eating involves trusting your body and what it tells you. Diets involve cultural conformity. What is culturally appropriate and beautiful, how much you should weigh, and how you should look. Mindful eating involves individual empowerment and self-acceptance. Diets depend on external cues, what you should eat and shouldn't eat. Mindful eating depends on internal cues. What do you feel like eating and when to stop eating? In a diet, the goal is weight loss, while in mindful eating, the goal is health enhancement. Dieting involves avoidance. Diets do not address problematic behaviors and problematic eating patterns. Mindful eating involves accepting our emotions, thoughts, our experience with food and eating. Diets are rigid. You can eat certain foods and sometimes in certain times of the day. Mindful eating is integrating. You eat what you like to eat and you eat for the right occasion. Diets rely on counting calories or carbs. Mindful eating looks at the quality calories. Diets are restrictive. Mindful eating is flexible. Dieting relies on deprivation, while mindful eating relies on fulfillment. Dieting is a quick fix. Mindful eating is sustainable lifestyle. Diets fight food, or food is seen as an enemy. With mindful eating, we celebrate and enjoy every type of food. So, by now, I hope it makes more sense to you why diets don't seem to work.